The Medical Council of India has now announced that medical degrees from colleges in PoK will not be valid in India. The MCI has said that the Act of 1956 India doesn't recognize such degrees and will not issue licenses to practice modern medicine. Earlier in June, a similar notification was issued for higher technical education from PoK-based institutes. The issue of students studying in PoK was flagged in 2017 when the MCI refused to allow the first batch of Kashmiri students from the newly established medical colleges in PoK to appear for the Indian medical certification test. Despite the pandemic, the preparations for the 74th Independence Day celebrations at Red Fort are currently underway in full swing, but with some riders. Special arrangements are in place in the wake of the pandemic. Only 4,000 guests have been invited. Multi-layered security arrangements and compulsory social distancing norms will be followed. Unlike every year, school children will not be part of this event. Medical booths have been set up at 4 locations in and around Red Fort as a precautionary measure. Important to note that the entire Guard of Honor is currently in quarantine.
Elaborate security arrangements have been made in the national capital in view of Independence Day. In fact, 300 CCTV cameras have been installed at Red Fort and 4,000 police personnel have been deployed just at Red Fort. Not just that, Delhi police is also carrying out anti-sabotage checks regularly, and in the areas near Red Fort, a regular bike patrolling is also happening. This time, because of the pandemic, the invitees have been requested to wear masks and maintain social distancing norms. One more thing that is going to be new this time is the thermal checking of all the invitees who are going to attend Red Fort flag hosting. Not just that, all the police personnel who are part of the Guard of Honor, they have already been quarantined.
And news on the COVID front really not very good for India. The country is reporting 64,500 cases in the last 24 hours, taking the overall tally close to 25 lakh. The worrying point is that India's daily increase in cases in the last 10 days has been higher than even the United States and Brazil, the two worst hit nations. But the silver lining for India is the recovery rate, which now stands at 71.2% after more than 55,000 patients recovered yesterday. India's fatality rate, which is at 2%, is also much lower than the global average. Let me go straight across to Sneha Mordani, who is tracking the health ministry for us. Sneha, while we are looking at the good news, it seems that the bad news right now is trumping the good news. For the last 10 days, we have consistently reported more cases than Brazil, more cases than the United States of America, which means we are reporting the maximum daily cases in the world.
Absolutely, maximum daily cases in the world, though our global position continues to be at number 3. But at the rate at which we are going, we will soon be surpassing the USA and Brazil. Yes, their absolute numbers are more because the infections were reported first in those countries, then in India. And apart from that, the rate of infection growth also much more in these countries, and hence, if you look at the total number of cases in the US and in Brazil, and also the total number of deaths that have occurred here, it's much higher than India. But day-wise increase in cases in India continues to be worrying. Today also, again, more than 60,000 new cases that we have reported in the last 24 hours. We continue to be in the phase of active growth of cases. Recovery rate, yes, has crossed the 71% mark, but because the base is large, look at the number of cases, more than 24 lakh cases. Tomorrow we are touching 25 lakh cases. If this continues, essentially, the base becomes larger, and then the recoveries will obviously improve as well, because many of the patients have mild symptoms. So eventually they are going to be on the path to recovery. Nothing surprising. A source within the government also told me that don't actually get overawed by the recovery rate, which may actually soon be at 90%. But the government on the record says that don't get overawed by the numbers because it's a pandemic. The numbers will increase. But looking at the way things are going, like I said, globally, we will soon be surpassing Brazil and the US, and that continues to be worrying. What's good is actually the fact that our death rate is slipped below the 2% mark. Sometime around June, the beginning of June, we were actually at a higher step, 3.4%. And now it has slipped and it is on a decline. So that is something that is perhaps should be reassured about.
All right. Thank you.